Sanctions against certain Venezuelan government officials are now in effect. That is after President Barack Obama signed them into law. The sanctions are directed at government officials who were allegedly involved in a crackdown on anti-government protesters. Their U.S. assets are now frozen, and they've been banned from getting visas. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has accused the United States of hypocrisy for slapping his country with sanctions a day after Washington announced its bid to normalize relations with Cuba. With shortages of basic products and ongoing concern in Venezuela, some residents are turning to a new way to avoid waiting in long lines, especially during the holidays. CCTV's Markovits reports.
22-year-old Elizabeth Villarrol, a housekeeper working for an upper-middle-class Caracas family, has been given a new duty by her employer. She now has to wait in line for up to 5 hours, 6 days a week, at the supermarket to buy food items and basic staples for the household she works for.
My boss gives me the list of things to buy. I get in the line in the afternoon, and sometimes I have to wait in another line later in the day, depending on what products arrive.
But for Elizabeth, a mother of two, it's a job she finds tiring and frustrating.
I found this little unfair. All humans are supposed to be equal, but I have to do this, and they don't, just because they were fortunate.
The use of coleras, as they are called here, is how wealthier Venezuelans avoid lines that can last hours. It's a relatively new phenomenon in a country suffering from record shortages of basic goods and one of the world's highest inflation rates. Some say it worsens the divisions between rich and poor in a country with widespread poverty.
We have those who are upwardly mobile and can afford to buy basic goods at whatever price. And then there's a population that cannot. And that's the majority of the population. It's a simple business deal.
Waiting in line to buy food is not something Venezuelans were accustomed to years ago when oil prices were high. But with fuel prices plunging and inflation soaring, paying people to stand in lines could be just one of the steps people will take to cope with a troubled economy. Markovits, CCTV, Caracas.